Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the ThePreGameNetwork Podcast. This is episode 115. I am your host, Dan, joined as always by my pal, Anthony. Say hi, Anthony.
Hello.
And as usual, we're going to be talking about everything in the world of video games this week that happened this week.
Absolutely.
Kind of a lighter week, but we'll get through it. Not before what we've been playing. Yeah, sorry.
Like, wake up, we're like the minute in. You can't be falling asleep on me now.
Oh, God,
I'm sorry,
baby
30
woke up at like
seconds.
6 a.m. and after going to sleep at like 10, it was, whatever, nothing, never mind.
Do we need to get like a I hear shock collars are pretty popular in the streaming space nowadays. We can get one for you. Give you a little buzz every now and again.
All right, so Anthony, tell me, what have you been playing this week?
I'll be honest, the only thing I really had time for outside the norm, because obviously I play some fighting games with Harrison and my other buddy. I try to check in on the gacha games and stuff like that, but this week has mainly been about Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
You said you were playing through that last week.
Yeah, last week I mentioned that I went through Human Revolution, and I basically had just started it. I think I'm about 2/3 in to Mankind Divided right now, and I'm kind of split on it if I'm being honest. Yeah, like, I think it handles very well. I think it plays very well. I think it looks really good, especially for the time that it was in. Not that I think it's like, oh well, it looked good then, but it doesn't look good now. I'm just in the time frame that it released. I think it stands out among some of the other good lookers of the time. I think it really looks good. I don't know. The world isn't gripping me, and like navigating through it, I guess. I don't know. There's like, it's lacking an it factor, because the entire time I was comparing it, and this might seem unfair, but like the two things that come to mind when I'm playing this is I think of the open world games of the time, which, this is more of like a semi-open world with a linear mission structure, which I'm not saying is inherently bad. It's just, that's the comparison. And I also compared it a lot to Mass Effect going through it.
Oh.
And yeah, it feels to me like Deus Ex, instead of being like this reboot era of Deus Ex, instead of being like a truer reboot to the original Deus Ex, which obviously it's a very well-renowned game. A lot of people fucking love it. They swear by it. When they talk about, RPGs of that time, they talk about Deus Ex. When people bring up immersive sim, not a big fan of that term, but they always bring up that as like a defining factor of like player freedom. I keep thinking about how some open world games, in particular, I think of like the Bethesda RPGs, though, like Fallout and Elder Scrolls, and I also think of Mass Effect, and I feel like this does a little bit of what both of those I guess paths in gameplay just kind of do it better. I don't know. There's a very strong possibility that like this style, this mix of like linear storytelling in a semi-open world space with RPG and stealth elements, I just feel like it's done not even necessarily better elsewhere, but I feel like there are other games that have a grander vision that also just have what Deus Ex offers, Like, I think that the only thing that the reboot games have done better than other competitors and other games I'm comparing them to is probably the stealth gameplay, because I think the stealth gameplay is very satisfying. But I'm just, like, I'm going to finish it. I don't hate it. I wouldn't even say it's bad. It's just something's not clicking despite me enjoying it, if that makes any sense,
It does. I mean, sometimes a game just doesn't really hit exactly the way that you want it to.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, which is,
I mean, a game could be good and like you're enjoying it, but you just don't think it's the greatest thing ever. Which I would imagine that happens to you a lot.
To be fair, normally when I have bad things to say, or if I'm not like hyping a game up, it's normally because it's disappointed me greatly. And I wouldn't even say this falls into that category. I try to separate myself from like the talk around a game when I'm enjoying it. Obviously, Deus Ex the reboot, when it never got a follow up after Mankind Divided, a lot of people talk up those two games, and I'm just not seeing it, and I'm not experiencing what I felt when the games were new, you know? And it's just, overall, I would say that despite having, I think, a neat overall world setting and a neat main character and a good premise, it's just nothing is gripping me. But I am going to finish it, and maybe I'll have more to say on it next week. But that's where I'm at right now with Mankind Divided. I think I'm probably going to, when I beat Mankind Divided, I might go and do a replay of the first Deus Ex. Like the first Deus Ex
original?
proper. Yeah, I'm not going to touch that remaster. That remaster looks dog shit, but I want to go back and I want to play the very first Deus Ex, the one that everybody rants and raves, and also gives almost like Kojima level credit because of the nature of the background plot of like politics.
Kojima.
But I'm saying people talk about the first Deus Ex the same way they treat Kojima, with like, oh my god, it predicted where the world's gonna go, and subversion, and like a lot of stuff that people talk about now in like real life and politics and stuff like that. A lot of that is kind of interwoven in the story of Deus Ex, so it has like this very undeserved prophetic like reputation around it, I guess. And who knows, maybe I'll be won over when I go back and play it, but for now that is what I've been playing.
All right. As far as me, I have not put any more time into Stellar Blade yet. I was actually I'm planning on playing that more today, but since we had to change up the recording schedule, that I guess doesn't really count. Played some, all my staples are here, like Darktide, Battlefield, Helldivers. I have continued to play more Frontier Defense and Titanfall 2 because, oh god, I love me some Titanfall. I'm basically like starting over in the Aegis ranks for that mode in particular because I never really played it on PC. It was primarily on the Xbox One, and we maxed out a bunch of shit on when Titanfall was in its heyday.
Yes, absolutely.
But I'm probably gonna it's still pretty active for Frontier Defense. I don't have any issues finding a match. I had to open up like that other SSL port on my computer, which is just crazy, just on its own merits. But since I did that, I have not had any trouble finding any match for Frontier Defense in particular. At any given time, there's like 1,500 people on Titanfall on Steam. So,
yeah, that really doesn't surprise me, just because we kind of overlook it, especially in our view of the industry. But there are still games, not quite Counter-Strike's level, but games like Payday 2 that just hold on to a core base that just doesn't get the same feel from anything else, and it's just always there, kind of waiting for people to jump into. Yeah,
like Payday 2 is a big one. Killing Floor 2 is another really big one. Yeah. Even though like both of those games have a 3. No one plays them. No one likes them.
Yeah.
Even like, so I can't speak to Payday 3. I haven't really played it. I think I maybe played it in like an hour or two when it first came out. Like, I think it might have been on Game Pass, or it was a demo. I definitely didn't pay for it. Killing Floor though, like I have 36 hours in Killing Floor 3 right now. In Killing Floor 2, it is significantly less at. I think it's less, at least. I think I had like 25, something like that. It's somewhere here. I'm looking in my library right now. I thought I had more. Killing Floor 2, I have 26 hours. So I'm over Killing Floor 2 by 10 hours with the third one. But I played a lot in Killing Floor 2 on consoles, so I think that's where the bulk of my playtime comes from. I don't dislike Killing Floor 3, not in the way that a lot of people just absolutely hate it. I still think it's a little bit too janky. Like it definitely needs a pass of polish and overall like quality of life fixes and stuff like that. But I enjoy Killing Floor 3, so I can't speak to Payday 3, but we just went over last week on how they're still supporting Payday 2, and like they're doing this whole engine upgrade to Payday 2. Some of those games just refuse to die, and I mean that's a good thing. Yeah, it's a positive thing. Wrong with that. Yeah, so it's just weird how I think it kind of speaks to the era of gaming that we were in back in like 2010 to 2016, like in there. We're still really good products were coming out.
It was the trail off
just,
of like the best time ever, so to speak.
Yeah, good point. So, yeah, like Titanfall 2, obviously there's no 3, but Titanfall 2 is still just, it's a single perfect bite of anything a game can be. Does that make sense? Like,
oh yeah, I was gonna say I get what you mean, because when I think about it, I think about the fact that, you know, compared to Titanfall 1 was multiplayer, which we all enjoyed. I know I'm kind of outspoken on Titanfall 1, but Titanfall 2, you have the campaign, you have a solid multiplayer aspect, and you have a survival mode that you can just you add that to a game that adds replayability, you know.
Yep. Not only do they have the survival mode, but they have a separate progression path in Frontier Defense specifically, so it adds that much more replayability. You got to find a way to download Titanfall 2 on PC, because it's oh god, I just want to play with a team again. It's so good. I love Titanfall 2 so much.
We could probably swing that one of these days. I think I might have it. I'm pretty sure you gifted me Titanfall 2 at some point
on PC.
I think so. I distinctly remember this, and it's just you got busy with something and I got busy with something, and I think what ended up happening isn't that like we were super busy for like we got busy right at the perfect time to forget our initial plans of just like, hey, let's go play Titanfall for a weekend.
Oh god, every time I play that game I have immediate joy followed by profound sadness, knowing that nothing is coming after it. I mean, obviously it's been 10 years. The game came out in 2016, which is just bonkers to me at this point. Like, it's so old, but it plays better than the majority of other games that attempt to do what Titanfall 2 did.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to say, you know, crazier things have happened, but given who is essentially the rights owner who holds like control over all that, you know, with EA, I just, you know, they've let things die in gaps that need filling. I don't think they're gonna, you know, reach out and they're not eager to, you know, add more to the shooter space when they have Battlefield, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I did check. I do have Titanfall. You did in fact gift it to me.
I did.
I believe
awesome.
my story checks out. So we'll figure it out some way. God damn, nearly 70 gigs. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
So yeah, Battlefield, which I'll get into the Battlefield news later on in the episode.
Yeah.
I don't think I linked the season 4 overview, so just remind me to talk about that.
Okay.
And I've been destroying Doom: The Dark Ages Revelations this past week. I have really hit my stride in the combat and the gameplay of that game, and it is the best parts of Eternal mixed with all the favorite things that I like from the Dark Ages, and it just hits so nice, because like I said last week, you can swap between the spear and the shield on the fly.
Yeah, and you mentioned the level of that.
Yeah, the level of mobility is just, it's not as crazy as Eternal, but it's just the right mixture between like you feeling like a tank and you feeling like the fighter jet from Eternal. So they really nailed it, and I've started to like figure out how to chain abilities together, where like I'll be zipping around with the spear, and then you quickly swap to the shield, throw it out like a mancubus, and then swap back to the shield while the mancubus is stunned, do like a bunch of other shit that you could recall the shield and keep on zipping around the map. It's really satisfying. So I've been hammering away at that, and they have like this new end game system at the end of Revelations where you have to basically go through and complete all the encounters, and then you can build up this thing called the Astral Key, which gives you access to another end game boss at the end. So that's what I'm working towards right now. But like I said, I've really hit my stride with the combat of the Dark Ages. It's just so fucking crunchy. It's great. But that's pretty much
overall. Very few people could say something negative about Doom and say like it doesn't have like the punch when you start getting into a flow. All three versions of Doom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and then like because you have the shield and the spear, and then you have 3 different melee weapons, and then you can swap between those on the fly as well, which they can give you like it's basically like a different melee loadout that you if you hit a combo the right way or do a counter or something, different like runic powers will come out. Like it's just there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. The game asks so much of the player, but in a good way, and it just never lets up. And the combat encounters are they demand your 100% undivided attention. And that's one of the reasons why I love Darktide so much, because when you're in a really high difficulty game and they can be for like 30 to 40 minutes a run, you literally don't have you don't have a second in between encounters to regroup. But yeah, you have when everyone's at like the Medicaid stations, but once you go into the next encounter, like you're going until you either beat it or it's not even a checkpoint, because not in the same way that Left 4 Dead had the safe rooms. You just have to wait for your team to like go to the door, and then once you press the button, you can just continue on with the level. But once you do that, like then it's time for business again, and the game just doesn't let up on you. Because you know how you say that you love to be fighting for your life in a game, especially in like an action game. More
adequately, I'm looking for something to give me that.
Fair. Like that's what Dark Ages and Darktide. That's how they feel to me. Once you make it past a certain point, like the enemies just do not let up. Like you have to be on your toes. If you make one wrong move, it could tank the entire run, and then you have to just start over. I really like that in the games that I play, much like the games that you play. So with that being said, that is the happenings of Dan and Anthony with what we've been playing.
There you go.
Do we have a writing question this week or no?
No writing question this week. It's quiet on just about every front.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice come down after the constant back and forth with the giants in the industry. Most you could say about Nintendo is they announced like, hey, we have some career opportunities. Also, we're giving everybody raises, which isn't very attention worthy, I guess.
Yeah, none of the good news ever gets highlighted. Fuck you, pay me.
I mean, it's just it's nothing juicy and it's nothing that affects us,
Yeah. So why don't you tell me about this Sony update that you got on the docket?
So I just wanted to do just a quick little, overview. I mean, we talked a little bit about it last week, and it's obviously been reverberating since the very first announcement, I guess, is that Sony is still completely silent on all fronts. The last major post I think they made was the 9th, and it was that support channel stuff that I was talking about, like, in this case it's kind of ironic where they're talking about like what happens if you can't download your digital games and that kind of stuff. So that was kind of funny, but like just the ongoing thing is like literally every single partner post from Sony has been bombarded and community noted, and just constant people, like every single like it's like, oh, the Wolverine comes out soon, Marvel Token Fighting Souls comes out soon, even the smallest like little indie game stuff or like AA stuff like Power Wash Simulator is getting hit with a reminder that it should, like, the community note is right underneath it, and it says like digital rights notification, and it's just a long blurb about how they're not doing it anymore. All the top comments are still like 2 weeks after, it's still all about the digital game stuff. So nobody's let up, essentially, is what I should say. Is like the vocal swell, while it does naturally taper, I think, and that's what most people expect, it's not really letting up here. And so even the industry insiders that were all about like supporting this or mentioning that this could be good, or like people that were like supporting Sony throughout all of this, have gone pretty much all quiet. So it's really just a violent fervor, and rumors are that the partners on the inside are actually pissed that like their like time in the sun, which they pay Sony for to post on their main account, is getting just absolutely destroyed because of the ongoing controversy. So the update on Sony is, I guess, less an update on Sony, because they have still just remained completely silent, and more
Which is
fact
crazy.
that
It's been what, like 3 weeks at this point?
Just about 3 weeks, I think, since the news broke. And we've been talking about it. This is the third week we're talking about it, so I'd imagine it's just about 3 weeks total. But like I said, the only thing that they have personally put out is that one support post, and they are still largely quiet. But overall, the swell, I mean, I talk mainly about like how customers and consumers and fans are reacting, because I think that is very important, obviously, your audience, on topics such as this. But also, I mean, I think like national news has been talking about it. Like I saw like Washington Post, Forbes, everybody's like
really? Well, I mean, Forbes, they have like a pretty big, well, Paul Tassi, I mean, he writes all like the Forbes stuff. That one I
Yeah.
knew about. Washington Post, I did not.
Yeah, like major news outlets are commenting on this because it also it coincides with what you brought up, and we kind of talked a little bit last week where we were talking about like everybody kind of had this realization because like you get hit with the news and you go, wow, that's terrible, but then you kind of dawns on you like nobody else is really doing this. Music CD sales have been going up, people still flock to vinyl, people still buy physical media when it comes to books, especially after we don't talk about it because this is not our wheelhouse, but Amazon, a lot of they discontinued and stopped supporting a lot of their back catalog of Kindle devices. So a lot of those are basically paperweights now. So I mean, it is a serious thing in all mediums, but like everybody's been talking about it from like the ground floor of people like that are just they go, they buy their PlayStation, they don't pay attention to the news, they don't talk about it like us, all the way to the top of national news networks. So yeah, so that's the update on Sony. They're still completely silent, probably hoping this will pass. I remain skeptical about this. I think that if everybody continues, I think even if they continue to stick with the decision, I do think this has the potential to hurt them and affect change at some point. But everybody just needs to remain vocal.
Speaking of change,
Yes.
well, to stay on this topic for another brief moment. I think we've reached the point in the video games industry where there needs to be some form of like, I hesitate to use this term so much because nothing ever good really comes from this, but government regulation with how you buy and install and keep your digital products. Because as we've learned in the past 3 weeks, there is nothing stopping them from going in there and just taking away shit that you've purchased and not giving you a dime for any kind of like refund or rebate or anything of the sort. We've really hit like a crucial junction where what we buy online digitally doesn't actually mean that you own the product. And I mean, we've talked about this like the past 3 weeks. It's all about control. It's all about, engagement, I want to say. But there's nothing in place to protect the consumer from anything. These companies literally write the book about how they are going to manage and enforce their policies for, yes, for everything that they own and operate, but specifically for digital, because that's the whole crux of this whole thing. I just think that there needs to be some kind of system in place at this point that will protect the consumer because, again, there's nothing stopping these companies from going right into your digital library and removing what you've already purchased, and then you don't see a dime of that, and then that's it. You can't really do anything about it. It's kind of bullshit. No, I'm lying. It is bullshit. And I don't see another way out of it. These companies will never do it of their own volition ever. And why would they? So the only other alternative is for a policy to be written, at least that I can see.
I mean, it is very tough. The main reason I say this is just in general, getting government overreach involved typically leads to other problems. And
that's why I had that caveat where like I really hesitate to use the term, but like I don't really know what other option there is.
I mean, the main hang up in all of this is like the consumer class, and I don't mean like the general like entire, but I mean like, again, those people who see, they see it as a status symbol, or it's just like they're at like the correct income level where like the most expensive thing they can buy frequently are video games. So they see it as like some kind of, I don't know, it's just like there's like some kind of mental loop there that's like beyond the gaming experience that comes into purchasing. And it like you have that group underneath that like companies can leverage, because like me or you or like most of the people we know will do a decent amount of research into a video game, or like will realize that their money needs to go to a specific they're only comfortable spending their money a particular way. And not all of them are going to be like me, where like I look at like, oh, what has the developer done recently? What are their positions on certain topics? Do they hate me? Not everyone's going to be like that. But there's still a certain level of quality that you look into before you make a purchase.
The most important question, do they hate me?
Do they hate me? Yeah. But
No,
no,
we
so,
joke, but I'm like, there's
so
a
some
reason
of, so,
why
some
that
of it
exists.
is some of it is fucking malicious. But yeah, so but there's a group out there that'll just buy no matter what, based on a name or something. I just want to shut my brain off for a little bit, and that group of people that like either isn't paying attention or like almost sees it as a cause to fight, where they like, oh, I gotta spend the money. Like companies like Sony and Ubisoft and a bunch of other companies that should have much more black eyes than they have right now.
Yeah.
They kind of ride that. So it's like, I guess where I'm going with this is that it's kind of dicey to involve the government. Occasionally, the EU governments over there, they occasionally give these companies, a bit of a shellacking, which leads to change. And like even that, I'm not necessarily comfortable with. But even though they have a reasonable track record, I just I feel like even if we were to get that, we wouldn't necessarily get everything that we need. I do think that there should be some kind of regulations in place at like the most minimal level possible, just as like a kind of a referee kind of thing. But I don't know what kind of ramifications would be from like them stepping in to like stop this. But I know that there would be some ramifications at a certain point.
I don't know what the ramifications are either. And I mean, we're talking about the government here, more specifically the U.S. government, which is where we live. And I mean, anything the government touches just automatically gets worse. Like that's a pretty well-known fact. So Dan, why would you call for government regulation? I'm so glad you asked, Anthony. It's, I mean, again, I already said this, but it's because there's no other out that I can see. Like it's for the same reason why, like, if you buy something from a store that they have a return policy and it's legally binding, if you're bringing the item back and it falls under the purview of the return policy, they have to take it back.
Yeah.
With video games, especially with digital games, it's all digital product. It's not really like a tangible thing other than the fact that you can install it onto a hard drive and interact with it that way. And then the only thing that's there's nothing stopping them from just denying you access to that thing. Like if you bought if you bought a laptop, right, and the laptop just didn't boot for whatever reason, or there was a blemish in like the bezel, or it was physically broken or whatever, you can bring that back, say, hey, this is what's wrong with it. You get your money back, or you could just exchange it, or get a store credit or something. There's no such protection in place other than Steam's very limited return policy that is in place to protect the consumer. So it just, I don't know, man. Like it's very murky, and the officials that are in office now are fucking ancient. So like, I don't think that they would even understand what they're trying to legislate.
Yeah.
So that's like another part of it, right? But it still doesn't erase the fact that there needs to be some kind of protection in place, because it's just unacceptable that if you buy something and Sony loses the rights to that thing, it just fucking Houdinis from your library. They don't necessarily have to tell you, and if they do tell you, it's in an email that has a bunch of legalese in it that absolutely nobody is going to read, except for people, no offense, like you, that like want to know what's going on. But the vast majority of people, myself included, honestly, they just don't have the time, or they just don't care to read something like that. So it just brings me back to my original point of there needs to be something in place to protect the consumer. I think that's the real fight that we're in now. Aside from the whole DRM thing, which kind of goes hand in hand with discs, but we also live in a time where not every game, but the vast majority of video games that you would want to play now, they require an online connection, essentially hamstringing you from playing it truly anywhere if you have the means to do so. So I don't know where I'm going with this, other than the fact that something needs to be put in place to protect the consumer, because I don't have an answer. I don't have a good answer, at least. And it just, I don't know what the answer is going to be, but something needs to be done. and that's it. I'm just gonna stop now because I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah,
around
I
in
get you.
circles.
I mean, for what it's worth, another reason why I'm not particularly fond of the intervention of some larger force is because consumer-driven change either takes like lightning in a bottle, very fierce aggression up front, or a lengthy period of time to turn enough people against bad practice. And I think there's just like there's been so much industry negativity for like I don't know, like nearly a decade, maybe a decade at this point, and I think it's affected enough people that we are in that period where we could see potential change based purely on the consumer, like the want and demand. So like I hesitate to muck up like a 10-year wait with some intervening force. I think that
I don't entirely
Yeah.
disagree with you, and I think we have seen examples in the past of the community or the consumer base like pushing back hard enough to make an actual tangible meaningful change, and that's always great to see. But it doesn't have the desired effect every time. It just needs to hit in just the right way. But I think if anything would be the catalyst to bring about whatever change would be down the pipe would be something like this, that Sony is killing physical media. Like way too many people enjoy that stuff for it to just go quietly in the night. And I mean, I hope you're right. I do, because I don't want to have government intervention if I could avoid it. But I'm just saying, in an official capacity, I don't know what the other option is. And at least not something as cut and dry. So that's the only reason why I said it.
I get you. No, yeah, I wasn't. None of that was to imply that like you were actively seeking. I'm just,
I know.
to bring it into that conversation. That's where I fall on it. But
Yeah.
I get you.
So okay, I mean that was the overall update with Sony,
Yeah.
and I used the change segue to talk about that. But I'm also going to use the same change segue to talk about Marathon. Since Sony has been dropping Bungie employees like crazy over the past few weeks, since they took Destiny around back and put a bullet in its head. There was other news that broke yesterday of Joe Ziegler, who was the Marathon game director, is no longer at Bungie as of today. Yesterday was his last day. He is no longer at Bungie. He was helming the Marathon ship in particular.
Yeah.
I've seen some mixed things online. I've seen a lot of would-be praise just on the grounds of, like, when he came in, he actually managed to get Marathon out the door, because who knows how many other delays would have been involved. Not saying like the game design decisions were like 100% positive, because I don't think that they were, in my personal opinion. But that's a conversation for a different day, and we're really not here to talk about Marathon. But the reception online was that of general praise, because at the very least he talked to the community, and I will give him that also. He was pretty engaged with the community overall at a pretty consistent basis. I don't like I don't know the guy. I have nothing real against him, but he's just got a real smug face, and like it immediately put me off. It's super vain, and I don't have a reason to say that, because I'm sure he's a nice guy, and like I don't want to throw shade when he just might not even deserve it. And it's not even like Marathon was his baby to begin with. He was brought in to essentially ship the game and give it some kind of direction after Christopher Barrett got fired for like sexual allegations. Which, by the way, that case was settled. He got a payout, I believe, he got his name put back into the Marathon credits. And he is, I think he just he just walked away. Like, he can still found another game studio if he wanted to, which he probably will. So now Marathon in and of itself, there's a lot of different people leaving. So Joseph Ziegler, he left. There was another Bungie employee. His name was Lars Anderson, maybe. His first name was definitely Lars. I'm blanking on his last name right now. But he had a 28 tenure at Bungie. He was around for the original Halo trilogy, and then everything that came after that. So he has a pretty stacked resume. And he, oh man, I I think he either left or he was let go. I don't remember which one it was. I want to say he was let go because I don't think they would have stressed the fact that he's been there for almost 30 years if it wasn't like a blindsided type of announcement. But the point being is that he was on Marathon, and Marathon is losing project leads and like experienced developers left and right now. On top of all of that, I mean, let's engage in our favorite pastime, Anthony. Let's engage in the kicking Marathon while it's down. It's at 5,300 players as of right now on a Saturday afternoon. Not great. Not great. And I always do this, but for comparison, Destiny has 57,000 players right now. So for a dead game, not bad. Well, that's not the point, Anthony. All right, and you know
I'm just saying, crowds have left the park. I get what you mean, though.
Yeah,
it's fine.
No shit, 60,000 people. That's still that would be healthy for like any other game.
Yes.
But anyway, so Marathon still not in a good way. They're bringing in permanent PvE modes. I think they're having like a trial period soon for a week or a weekend.
Yeah, I heard about that,
but they keep on talking about bringing in permanent PvE modes. But like, if you're just gonna make Marathon a worse version of Destiny, like why did you kill Destiny in the first place, right? I don't think at this point, after all the news that has come out, and all these layoff information and all just everything that we've learned over the past month or so, I would be shocked if Bungie as a studio was still around in a year's time. And I don't have I said that before? I don't know if I've said that before.
I think you've said that before. I don't know if you said it that definitively, I guess.
Yeah, I'm at the point now where they don't have anything of note anymore. Destiny is no longer a live service game. It's just a game, and it will eventually wither away and truly die. Marathon is sitting at 5,000 players, which is nowhere even remotely close to where it needs to be to succeed in the games as a service scene. And nothing, as far as we know, is greenlit or is being worked on by Bungie proper. So I don't know where that leaves us. Sony has stepped on rakes time and time again within their live service pursuit. And Marathon is really no different. And I know I've brought this up in the past, but the overall Bungie community, I think I said this last week actually, the Bungie community the world over is not going to forget what transpired. I don't think that that's going to go away anytime soon. They would need to come out with something truly revolutionary to even have the hope of getting their community back. But that's pretty much where we're at right now. Marathon is at death's door. Everyone seems to be leaving while the getting is good. And I don't like saying this because even though Marathon is not a game for me, I truly do hope that it finds some success in some way. Like, I can respect the fact that there are people out there that enjoy it, that like it on its own merits, and that's fine. You're allowed to like what you like. I will almost never hope for a game to fail unless the developers behind it are like
Very
definitely malicious. I know. And I mean, you in particular, Anthony, could definitely make an argument right now about what I just said being the case for Bungie. But I mean, I don't know. That's just the way that I feel right now. I don't think that Marathon is long for this world. I don't think that Bungie at this rate is long for this world. And I would be shocked if both of those things were still around in a year's time. So
I mean, I wouldn't say that's outside the realm of possibility.
I know.
My only comment on all this is, like, you know, you mentioned they're losing tenured employees, and in a vacuum, I do agree that that's like you know, that's a bad look. You know, when you hear somebody like, oh, this person's been with the company for however many years, and to that, I really just have to go back to the point I made last week when we were talking about like the Xbox shakeup and everything like that, and we talked about, oh, Bethesda, they're losing people who've been with the company for 3 decades. My opinion on employee loss of that nature is it's a bad thing to lose tenured talent that's been with the company for a long time. The flip side of that is that if the game or the studio as a whole just isn't in a good spot. Either that person isn't actually as important as their tenure makes them out to be, or they are that talented and they are important to some degree, and they are a good get for the company, but they're not able to flex that talent in a way that's like good for them, and they should probably consider packing up if the company's gonna keep doing that to them anyway. So I think
the latter is probably more true for Lars in particular, because you don't lose an employee like that. And I gotcha. You don't lose an employee like that to nothing. Clearly he's a smart guy. He was responsible for creating some of the greatest games of all time, and just for him to like jump ship at 28 years. I mean, it's a long time for anybody to be at any job. But if you love what you're doing enough, you love what you're working on enough, you would never consider leaving. So there is that. I mean, Sony and Bungie are just in a really bad way. Bungie has been in a bad way for a while now, but Sony, in their like hubristic pursuit of the live service greed monster, are just shooting themselves in the foot left and right. And it's kind of funny to watch, but it's also sad at the same time. So, yeah, man. I mean, it's not a good look by any stretch of the imagination, and I am just super curious to see how this all truly shakes out when the dust settles.
Yeah.
So, anywho, that's the marathon update.
Yeah. Actually, because it's relevant, before we get to the other stuff on the itinerary, I think I forgot to put this up there. Speaking of talent leaving the industry, Glenn Schofield announced that he was retiring.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
Anthony, what was Glenn Schofield responsible for?
Well, the biggest thing is Dead Space, but he was also very important to Sledgehammer Games.
Yeah, well, he was the co-founder of Sledgehammer.
Yeah.
So he made the original Dead Space, or he was in charge of the studio that made it. It was still was it Visceral Games, right? That was the name of the studio?
Yes, it was Visceral Games, yes.
They made all three, right? Even though the second and third one kind of devolved into more action games than horror, if anything.
Yes. I'm trying to think, because it gets murky, because Visceral is one of those companies that was absorbed into EA at one point or another, where it started at EA.
5-ish years.
I think it's weird when I think about it, because I think it started as EA, then became an offshoot after Dead Space. It's honestly a little murky, but the whole point is like that's where he was, and he was part of that company that went on to do Dead Space. They handled James Bond for a while. They did the sequel to Army of Two, and then they did Battlefield Hardline. I think that's one of the things they did. I think they were involved in. I think they were also involved with Dante's Inferno, which that
is also true.
Me.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Dante's Inferno was great.
Yeah, Dante's Inferno. I'm ashamed that never. Speaking of games that you wish carried on, like that's one there. But I think Glenn Schofield specifically, aside from his managerial and production roles, he was mostly involved in obviously this Dead Space. He worked on one of the Godfather games, and he had a hand in 3 different Call of Duties. Modern Warfare 3, Advanced Warfare, and Modern Warfare 2, which is an interesting little collection of Call of Duty games, because I would say while they aren't the best ever, they're like in this weird spot where people really like them. I know you're a big fan of Modern Warfare 3. I like it to a lesser degree. Both of us were
the original Sledgehammer, right? They did the original, and they had a hand in making the 2023.
Yeah, I'm sure they were one of a million, but I'm talking specifically where Glenn Schofield was involved. And that would be those. So you really liked Modern Warfare 3. I like it to a lesser amount, but we both enjoyed it. Advanced Warfare impressed us enough to kind of jump on the Xbox train before we had Xbox Ones. That's when we got out and we got those.
Didn't we both buy the Advanced Warfare edition of the Xbox One?
Yes, we did. We were number 1 and number 2 at the GameStop.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was yeah. And then the World War II is just, it's better than it had any right being, and it's also one that got
Agreed.
A really good patch way down the
Yeah,
line that kind of
after-
cracked the game open, which was also very good. So I mean,
Which, interestingly enough, they will be doing the same type of headquarters hub area in Modern Warfare 4. They're ripping it straight out of World War II. Yeah.
Well, there you go. It's reaching even further into the future with that. And the last thing he did was obviously the Callisto Protocol, which was like his own spiritual
Right, that was
successor.
not good, right? I didn't play it.
I mean, my whole thing is like, it's not. I hesitate to say it's not good. It's definitely lacking in a few areas, and it doesn't live up to, if you had this guy who, up till the very end of him leaving the industry, he's like, Dead Space 4, please let us make a Dead Space 4. The Callisto Protocol, maybe it's because they tried to differentiate a little bit. It's awkward and it lacks in some areas, but it's not terrible, But
Okay.
yeah, so he announced his retirement. He specified specifically, it's the day-to-day work and just within the gaming industry as a whole. There's always a slim chance he could do contract work or come back in some way, but like this is essentially the end of his career
he's an
as
older
it
guy,
was. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and so I don't know. People are speculating because if you saw the picture in the video, he looks drastically different. Like people are speculating he's sick in some way, or just age hit him like a truck or something, because he looked like, I didn't recognize him at first. I'm like, is this AI or something? So it's but so that's it just came to mind because I definitely didn't put it in the things to talk about today, but when you started talking about losing people, like that popped into my head.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of sucks. I mean, he put out like a decent amount of games. One of them, I'm talking about Dead Space, was like universally loved by everybody that played it, myself included. I am not a horror fan, but that was a great game.
Dead Space is great. I really like that.
So, let's see, what's next here. All right, so Bethesda. I love the way you word things sometimes. Bethesda remembers that it makes games. They are shifting full force into the development of the next Elder Scrolls games.
Yes.
What? It's Elder Scrolls 5, 6?
It's Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5.
Okay.
So essentially, yes, I worded it that way, and people are joking. It's like, man, what did this woman, talking about Asha Sharma, what did this woman do to Bethesda? Just walked in and did whatever. It's like, I don't like to give credit to anyone, but obviously there was a leadership kind of, not shake up, but like somebody somewhere was reminded, hey, you need to make things, right?
Seems like it was a shakedown.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, so Bethesda put out this massive,
you know what I picture for that whole metaphor there? Like, you remember the scene from Airplane where that woman is freaking out and there's like a line of people lining up to like snap her out of it, and like some guy smacking her. Then as the line goes down, like one dude has a baseball bat, the next guy has a pair of fucking brass knuckles, the next guy has a gun. Like that was Asher Sharma walking in with the gun. You're gonna make something new, Todd, okay?
Yes. But they put out this whole thing. I forget it was either What's Next or The Future for Bethesda. I forget exactly what it was titled, and they went over everything. They shockingly, despite rumors to the contrary, Fallout 76 is still full steam ahead on content, for whatever that's worth. The next one is actually going to be a prequel story to Fallout 3, which is interesting. That might actually attract some attention. Speaking of Fallout 3 and also Fallout New Vegas, both of them are getting remasters. They're in development now. Fallout 5 has officially entered pre-production, so that's what they're going to be working on after the Elder Scrolls 6, which, as they mentioned and as you mentioned, is now their main project going forward. That's what they're focusing on right now. They also confirmed what everybody heard before and what everybody was saying, where Obsidian Entertainment will be making a new Fallout game, which it's apparently in direct partnership. It's not like a standalone thing, but it's not the Fallout 5 that's in pre-production. So we'll see how that shakes up. So Fallout is definitely getting milked for all it's worth. You got 2 remasters, a spin-off, and a mainline game, all officially confirmed. And on top of the support for 76. They also announced, and this surprised me, we talked about this last week, is Starfield is not done yet. The support is going to be continuing with new stuff, new stories, gameplay improvements, and other content coming down the line. Even though it is a lower priority, it is not being left by the wayside. The only thing that we didn't hear anything about, or at least in this announcement, was the Elder Scrolls Online. I think that's primarily handled higher up with Vivendi. So
Okay.
who knows? We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, and to top it all off, people went and spoke to Todd Howard directly, and they're just like, "So what's going on? What are you doing?" And he basically confirmed that he has no intention of retiring anytime soon. He said he considered it in the past, he thought about it, but he's fully committed to Bethesda and their ongoing developments. I think he said it's a long way off, specifically.
I have no horse in that race. I've never been a real big Bethesda fan.
Well, it just goes to what you said before when we were talking about tenure and wanting to keep more people in the industry. Say what you will about Todd as like a person overall, and like how important specifically he is. Because he's just one guy at the end of the day, but he is a good figurehead for the company, and he's got that good presence as a leader, internally and externally.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
he's
always been a presence in the industry.
Yeah. I don't know why I've been feeling like playing Elder Scrolls recently. I might do a playthrough or something. I don't know what yet, but yeah, I'm just glad that Bethesda has finally decided that they're going to be, actually making games again instead of just, trotting out new ideas and milking those dry.
All right, so I'm gonna move on to the Modern Warfare 4 event, and then I'm gonna follow that one up with the Battlefield 6 Season 4 overview, because Modern Warfare 4 it's a smaller bit of news as compared to Battlefield, so I'm gonna do that one first.
Go for it.
There was an event in the Javits Center, actually, in Manhattan, for the Fanatics Fest, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's a sport thing. Why Call of Duty was there, I couldn't tell you.
There's some overlap with like the more I guess
same
the normie
demographic,
population, I guess the dude bros.
So they had like a booth at the event where you could just go up there and like play a couple gunfight games. But they also invited a bunch of different streamers and YouTubers and blah, blah, blah. I watched a decent amount of gameplay, but like I also didn't want to have to deal with the voiceovers and like just the insufferable personalities that were being recorded. So I didn't really watch that much. I mean, I can't really say a whole lot about Modern Warfare 4 without seeing like real, proper, raw gameplay. It does kind of look like an amalgamation of all the best parts between Modern Warfare 2019, 2, and 3. So, that's a plus. The new movement system. No, let me take that back. The movement for Modern Warfare 4 looks fine. Like it looks better overall. I think 2019 was like the perfect pace of everything, and then it just got all wacky with Modern Warfare 2 and 3. They just the speed of everything, of slide canceling and all. Like I just can't stand it. I am, you and I are both like OGs from a Call of Duty standpoint. Like we both played the originals all the way up to what they're at now. They have not missed a single year.
Yeah, we pretty much started with the console like side ports and expansions of one. Like mine was Finest Hour. Was yours Big Red 1? Was that your first? I know you loved
I believe that was I think that was my first.
Yeah, yours was Big Red 1. I loved 2. We both hopped on with 4, and we also knew a lot of people that liked 3 quite a bit. It was never for me though.
Well, 3 is really where the multiplayer really took off as far as like the original foundation of like the design philosophy in 3. Between movement, perks.
Did 3 actually have all that? I don't remember that.
Yeah, 3 I think introduced sprinting, which was obviously huge.
I guess in a way that is it's a mixture of things. But when I think of like where it really kicked off, like going from 1 to 2 was like that big step. Because 2, if you look at how 2 plays, short of sprinting, just like the gunplay and how it handles, like the overlap with 4 is like it's you can't miss it.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, because Call of Duty 2 was Infinity Ward and 3 was Treyarch, so not surprised that like 2 and 4 share extremely similar DNA.
Yeah.
But anywho, I definitely need to see more because I only watched I watched like a handful of snippets because not a whole lot of people had long form videos that really just had all gameplay. The attachments look really cool though, I will say, and I'm gonna reserve saying this on the record until the game comes out, but off the record, Anthony, my dear friend, I think that the gunplay specifically developed by Infinity Ward from Modern Warfare 1 or Modern Warfare 2019 and 2, less so on 3. I think they are the gold standard for first-person shooters, just the overall feel of an FPS game. Like it is so good between the animations, the feedback, just the way that the guns have impact, the way that they're animated. I can't even. There has been no other game that has felt as good to shoot a gun in than those, in my opinion. And that's like all I play are first-person shooters. Destiny. I mean, I know I go on and on about the gunplay in that game when I'm on the subject, but I think it's a different animal when it comes to like, because Destiny was like sci-fi / fantasy, and Modern Warfare is obviously extremely grounded in reality, barring like the crazy weapon creations you can make in the gunsmith. But I would still prefer, at the end of the day, like the Modern Warfare way that guns shoot and feel. I'm gonna wait until Modern Warfare 4 comes out because so far 4 is shaping up to look like a very solid entry in Modern Warfare. But I think that the Infinity Ward Call of Duty games are just the gold standard for first-person shooters. Unless I'm just like forgetting something. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Titanfall and Titanfall 2 are phenomenal. But they didn't have the technology in those engines to make the weapons feel the way that they feel in the Modern Warfare titles. And then I'm very curious to see how the removal of Bloom is going to play out in Modern Warfare 4, because that could make for some very, very interesting and tasty plays. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, the game comes out. What?
No, I was gonna say before we like move from Modern Warfare, what's this I hear about a map that has like 500 different combinations?
Oh, you haven't heard about this?
I know next to nothing about it.
So the map is called Kill Block. It's in the same vein as like Kill House or I'm sorry, Shoot House. But I don't know how it's going to play out in the actual gameplay. But in the presentation that it was showed at during this Fanatics Fest, was the map itself is split into like 3 different modular pieces, and every round one or all of those different modular pieces can change to be a completely different thing to make these different map combinations. And I gotta say, I think it's like the first truly, I'm not gonna say revolutionary until I get to play it, but it's the first like really good fresh idea Call of Duty at the very least has had in quite some time. To have like changing maps. I mean, Battlefield with the Levolution is one thing because it'll completely change the landscape of the map that you're playing on, but it's not going to change the entire map layout in the same way that this Kill Block map is aiming to do. So yeah, they have like thousands of different possible combinations. Maybe it's not thousands. It could be like in the 500s somewhere in there. But it's like different pieces of different maps around the game that are all like coagulated into this one map, but it's 1/3 of the map, and then it could change from round to round. I don't think it's going to change in real time if you're going to be playing like Domination or Team Deathmatch or something. But I mean, I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But as far as like round-based games go, like Search and Destroy or Gunfight, they will change every round to completely change up the way that you play during that specific match. So it could be really cool. I mean, I hope it's not just a gimmick. We'll see how it plays out.
It's at the very least, it's going to be like a nice way to mix things up. Yeah. You know, for that specific section. You know.
Yeah, I mean, COD doesn't really try anything drastically new like that anymore, so it'll be nice to see. So that's Modern Warfare 4. I mean, I'm still really waiting on seeing in like its full glory, like what they have to offer this year. And again, it's just because I love the Modern Warfare franchise. But this game does look like they are learning from the abortion that was Modern Warfare 3. I didn't have a problem with the multiplayer, but that single player was just god awful, so bad. And it looks like they are experimenting with interesting ideas in this campaign, so we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Okay, so Battlefield 6 Season 4 news. They put out this whole overview trailer of the 2 new maps, new weapons, naval warfare, which I think you'll actually be really interested in.
Yes, I saw
That
some
was an
snippets of that.
enthusiastic, yes.
Yeah, like I listen. I like the vehicle spread in these Battlefield games. You know, sometimes they lead to they're a bit more rigid than I would like, but I like the option of having these vehicles. So I saw the boats on there. I'm like, ooh, this could be fun.
Yeah. So we're getting Suru Reef in I think it's July 21st. I think it's this coming Tuesday. So that's going to be the first. Now, let me just say, I can't stand how they do like this trickle, this drip feed of content. I fucking hate it. Like, make a seasonal content update and give us everything all at once. Like, I feel like it would go over a lot better, because I can get bored of one map very quickly. But Suru Reef is going to be the largest map that they are putting in the game so far. Even larger than Railway to Galmond, and that's definitely a plus. The new vehicles seem really cool. There's a patrol boat. There's like a Zodiac. Your squad or your team spawn bases are their own respective aircraft carriers, which is how they did it in Battlefield 4, I think. So that just adds to the immersion. That's pretty cool. We're getting, I think, 4 new weapons over the course of 2 months, I want to say. One of them is it's not called the VSS, but it's the VSS marksman rifle from it was what did they call it in Call of Duty? Oh my God, what was it called? Jesus. It was like super fast firing Russian rifle. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't.
It's the VSS Venturas. Like, that's the name of the actual gun in real life.
Was that you're talking about the one that when they added it, it was also used for like the tie-in promotion with the new Black Ops of the time?
Yes.
You could find woods and get like the Bay of Pigs variant, or am I talking about something?
No. You're thinking of Cold War. No. I'm talking about what?
No, what are you talking about? Refresh me.
Modern Warfare 2019. It was like season 2 or something like that.
Okay, if it was season 2, it's something else. But I'm not talking about Cold War. I'm talking about the fact that when Cold War was announced, you could do something in Warzone to get a variant when Woods was like added to.
It might have been. I was never into Warzone to like tell you that for sure, one way or the other. But this is gonna really bother me. God damn it. It has an integral suppressor, which is honestly huge for Battlefield because most players will take a suppressor of some kind on their weapon. But point being, that's the weapon I'm looking forward to the most because it's launching as a DMR single shot, but you can unlock an attachment that it'll fire full auto in the way that I'm used to playing with it in COD. So that's going to be cool. They're shipping a new carbine, a new sniper rifle, like a large caliber sniper that is made for great vast distances in the same way that oh God, what do they call the Barrett in Modern Warfare? God damn it, man.
Rytech.
This is all yes, the Rytech.
Rytech.
It's the same type of, I don't think it's like that model, but it's something in that vein where it's like a very large caliber sniper. Oh my, this is gonna really bother me what the name of this rifle is called.
Well, it's their fault for doing the whole, at a certain point everybody's decided, well, we can't use the real names anymore.
I don't know why.
Everybody said for a while to licensing thing, but
oh my God.
ASL, there you go.
Yeah,
it's completely different from what I'm talking about. But yeah, no, people said that it's a licensing thing, but I'm pretty sure that's bunk. I'm pretty sure people have gone over multiple times. It's not actually the case, so I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. I can't stand it. Just use the real weapon names. It's so much better. Anyway, so the new content for Battlefield is looking really good. And then so after we get the first large map, Super Reef. Wake Island is coming back in August, in the beginning of August, I think, or maybe mid-August. But that I'm really excited for. Like, you and I both have a lot of experience with Wake Island. It's been a staple on Battlefield for fucking ever.
Yep.
So that's going to be cool. We should definitely jump in and play a little bit once that drops. And then they have a bunch of like back end stuff that's going on. They are launching a more robust version of custom lobbies. Portal's getting more love. So DICE is doing all the right things right now with Battlefield 6. I mean, there's still plenty of time to fuck it up, but right now they're doing the right thing. Right now they're doing the right thing, and I'm here for it. I've been really enjoying Battlefield 6, but I've said historically, but it's not like they did anything new or innovative in Battlefield 6. Like they took the original system from the original games that everybody unanimously loved, and they put it into a new game that looked better, that played better as far as like the gunplay and everything goes. And you know, it sold gangbusters because of it. Like, it didn't do anything new. It's just a classic Battlefield experience. And who would have thought it would have resonated with literally every Battlefield fan? Real weird. So far so good. We'll see what happens as the content rolls out, but that is the Battlefield 6 update. Let's see. Let's tackle some small stuff, unless you wanted to inject something in.
Small stuff. Go for it.
All right. Okay, so Ryan Hurst was the actor who was playing Kratos in the Amazon God of War series. He tore his bicep and he is just dropping out from the show, which I think is kind of a shame, unless like they just want to get it done and they don't want to wait for him to
my understanding is that the injury is so severe the recovery time would take like a year total. Unless
that would make sense. Like any torn muscle is a nightmare.
Yeah, and I think they had only done 4 episodes, which they have to reshoot now. So I think they just weighed the pros and the cons, and they went with replacement.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder who they're replacing him with, because we've had this discussion before. I really like Ryan Hurst as an actor. I think he could be a very good Kratos. But everything that they've shown about the show just does not look great yet. So, I mean, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. If they're forced to reshoot 4 episodes, maybe they could just redo the tone and the overall look and feel of the show.
Good luck.
I know.
Good luck with that one.
What's this about Compulsion Games?
So I just found it's just a little update on one of the Xbox darlings that everybody pretends to love now. You know, they made like 5 games or lower than that, and you know, ever since, you know, everybody was wondering, it's like, oh my god, they can finally spread their wings and fly now that they've spun off and they're independent. And you know what the first thing they did was?
Go on.
They're looking for collaborative partners. So as soon as they have a modicum of freedom, don't worry guys, Big Mean Xbox isn't going to do anything to you anymore. They immediately seek partnership elsewhere. Shot a flare up in the air. Yeah, like I'm not saying like they're looking to be bought out again, obviously, but like the fact that they are immediately looking for partners, it just kind of shows what kind of studio Compulsion Games was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything to say because I don't really know that studio that well, but I'll definitely take your word for it. I too heard of Steam's record-breaking year this past fiscal year.
Yes.
I don't have any details in front of me, so you should take that as well. But I mean, it's kind of shocking that they have been performing as well as they have. I mean, I know we're talking about Valve and everything, but like they'll always do well just based off of the just the business model that they have and the storefront that they have. But for them to have a record-breaking year, was it their best year ever? Wasn't that the case?
Well, I mean, we won't know for sure until the end of the year. But I guess this technically would be the case. I mean, their prior peak was 2021, I think, and that was pandemic time, so they made like nearly 12 billion or something.
That's insane.
Yeah, and right now only. Well, now we're the reports for the 6 months, but we just got the report now. 11.1 billion in revenue.
Oh,
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see where they end up at the end of the year, but it just really, with all the discussions we've had about like, doom and gloom on the console space, people still just want to play games. They're gonna go where the games are, and right now Steam is that marketplace.
Yeah.
The alternative is being like me. I know this is very difficult for some people, but just go out and emulate and find what you like. But yeah, I mean, the next best thing.
10 lashes for you in the town square, sir.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Exactly. But
with nothing to bite down on.
Yes. But right now, Steam is on track to. I think it's when the numbers break down. I think overall, I think they would need to break 20 billion, which they're on track to do. I think
that's
20
crazy.
Yeah, I think 20 billion would do a good full year, but they've already passed their record for 6 months. So
that's wild.
Yeah, so we'll see where
a lot of money.
Up.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money. People,
right.
it turns out when you have the premium spot for all games, people want to pay. So.
All right, moving on. Xbox Positron rumors. The Positron, that was the thing to convert your physical games into digital, right?
Yeah, I don't know how much we talked about it. I feel like we keep forgetting to talk about it, but there's a rumor that Xbox is posed to make some kind of announcement related to it at some point, and if not, at the very least, that Helix should launch with something like that. And
I don't trust it. I don't.
Well,
I think that there's going to be a catch somewhere. Sorry.
Well, here's the thing. I'm inclined to agree with you, but like the catch already happened because this feature was originally supposed to launch with the Xbox One, back when the Xbox One was an online-only console. It was one of the things I was the most excited for when we were reading about the consoles. The 360 was not on its way out, but like at the end of its time in the spotlight. PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 was that generation. We're moving into the new one, and when I heard about that with the Xbox, I thought that was the most awesome thing ever. I'm just like, I can put a disc into my Xbox. It'll recognize that I own it so that I don't have to have the disc in at all times, so I can keep my physical collection and have a little bit of extra convenience. I thought that was the most awesome thing ever. Though what wasn't so awesome is that it was tied to an online-only console. You would need to do periodic check-ins with it, and on top of that, it revoked the license from the disc, so like you couldn't sell it later down the line if you wanted to. I think that was how it broke down. But luckily, everybody kind of turned on that, and the rumors now are saying Positron won't work that way. It will basically be like you put it in, it recognizes the disc, it recognizes the serial, and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's like, after 30 days, you might need to do a check-in, and it doesn't revoke the license from the disc. And if that's the case, I am all on board for that. I think that would be really awesome if you could, like, essentially, you could convert the disc into a digital license, but it's not a permanent change. So you always have your physical, and the physical is basically like a deed almost. You could look at it like that way. I think that would be awesome. It's that perfect middle ground where you get the convenience of digital, but you don't forfeit your physical collection. So we'll see where that goes. But that's
would be
the main reason I want to bring it up is because I wanted to bring it up when we talked about Xbox. I keep fucking forgetting it, but there are rumors that they're moving ahead with this thing, so we'll see what ends up happening. If not, that's still a very cool concept. I would love to see something like that. It's essentially, that's like another step closer to the convenience that PC offers, where like back in the day, you would buy a disc, you'd pop it in, you'd install it, and then it would be there, and you could crack the exe if you wanted to. Otherwise, you would just need to put the disc in each time.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean that is cool. I would be receptive for something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Take-Two wants more companies. Really? That's weird. They want more?
So of all the companies that moved in and like made a ton of purchases to different companies while that craze was going on, that Xbox kind of kicked off, right? Take-Two is just flush with the money. They made $1 billion more than they expected to with their acquisitions, and want to make more money going forward.
Jesus
so they would very much be interested in acquiring more companies. I think they said specifically it's like it's a major point within the company that they want to continue to pursue. So This includes
Yeah, well,
the way they discuss it, they also talk about it as like an investment in certain technologies. So they approach it a little differently than Sony and Xbox have, but like they saw the money, it paid out for them, and they want to do more of that. So,
all right. Yeah, I mean that's not surprising in the least.
yeah.
I don't even know what else to say about that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. This Need for Speed / Burnout topic that you have, this about Criterion?
Yes, it is.
So, all right. Why don't you hit me with it? Because
Yeah.
I think I know what it's going to be. But the only thing that I do know is that like Criterion was just rebranded to be an official Battlefield studio at this point.
So last year in August, Criterion rebranded. They are Criterion: a Battlefield studio. And this year, Criterion celebrated its 30th anniversary, and the studio used this as an opportunity to make it official, and they announced that they are solely focused on Battlefield going forward and not working on any racing games. And I think the words in perfect tone-deaf executive fashion, the vice president of the company, general manager, Rebecca something, she said, "We are not here to talk about the past. We are solely focused on Battlefield." I'm like, oh, that's great. And so that
that's
basically
EA cracking the whip.
Yeah, so that's basically Need for Speed, which I think the last game they did was Unbound, which had its issues. That came out in 2022, and the last Burnout it remains Paradise, and I guess you could extend that to the HD version of Paradise. Yeah, the last Burnout game was Paradise, and they're both effectively dead. And this is shitty for multiple reasons. It's kind of I mentioned that I was going to talk about it a little bit when we talked about EA before with Titanfall, and how it's like EA isn't in the habit of filling gaps that could be filled with what they own, much less something in like a space that already has plenty of competition. EA holds two of the, I wouldn't say biggest, but certainly the most renowned legacy racing games, and right now there are no racing games out there.
I mean, they're just not popular.
Well, no. I'm making a distinction here. I wanted you to challenge me and say, Anthony, Forza exists, so I could say, no, idiot, Forza is not what I'm talking about. No. So basically, what I mean to say by this is,
my, how I love our back and forth.
Yes, there are no arcade level racers, be it the literal like arcades of like an Outrun, or the classics of like a Burnout or a Need for Speed, where you just go and you drive around, you do challenges, and you have fun. Every major racer that exists right now and is popular and put out by a major studio fall into one of two categories: either kart racers, which are a little bit different, or realistic sims, or like sims that are like branching off of the realism a little bit because they realize people have fun. Like I to this day,
I'm glad
surprised.
you made that distinction, because I was going to challenge you on the Horizon sub.
And I was just about to talk about Horizon,
because that definitely leans more into the arcade side of things than racing sim.
And that is exactly what I was about to address, and I disagree. I've held it in long enough. I think Horizon's a fine game. I know plenty of people who have enjoyed it. When I played it, I didn't hate it. It's not the same. It's not even close. It's like...
No, I agree. It's not the same. It's not. Yeah, I mean, they're taking something that came from very serious simulation roots, and they gave it like a coat of arcade-y-ish
Yes, arcade-y-ish.
Like, I understand what you're saying. I do. Yes. And I think you were just taking my words and running with them, because I said leaning into the arcade side, not an arcade racer. Yeah, you love to catch people, Anthony. You do. And I gotta be precise with my goddamn words.
Please. The industry frustrates me so much, Dan, and words are important. But anyway, I just feel like there is such a huge market out there. I know the people I know that like Forza Horizon either like it to a limited degree, but would be much happier with something like a Burnout or a Need for Speed, or just like all racing games, and they're just playing it because they like racing games in general. But there is I swear to God, I guess it would be kind of hard to market because you let it sit for so long. There is a market out there for racing games that aren't as strict and structured. There's a reason why, like Grand Theft Auto Online, very popular, very big. One of the major things that people do in that is racing or just driving their cars around, because it's basically like its own little arcade racer built into it with how it plays and how it handles. At least in Grand Theft Auto 5, 4 is a little different. But it's just like, it frustrates me to hear this, because the only way that something like this is going to get made is if Criterion made some kind of push. And I wouldn't say it was even likely, but like they literally can't. They are now a Battlefield studio, and it drives me fucking insane that we will continue to see this gap left empty, because the last time they tried was Unbound, and I don't think it was that. I think it was not quite the same level as the original Need for Speeds. So I just wanted to
Give me a re-release of Split Second. That's what I want.
You don't need it. Just boot it up on your Xbox. I could play it right now.
I don't think I... You know what? I do own it on my Xbox. Man, that game was great.
Yeah, what year did it come out in, Dan? It came out years ago. There was a time where you had Need for Speed and Burnout and other companies, fucking Disney, making these racing games, and it's just nice. And it's, I don't know, it pisses me off. It just bothers me.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, and you're not wrong. I mean, it might be frustrating, but you're not wrong.
Yeah, but that's all I had to say. That's all I really had to say about the Burnout.
This just in: Black Flag has officially sold 3 million copies. We don't know player user numbers, but they've sold 3 million copies. Goddammit!
Amazing that happens.
Weird how that works out.
The second the sales are somewhat stable, we start hearing about sales. Imagine that. And all it took was you re-releasing one of the most popular, the last time it was arguably universally acclaimed to be good. Good on you. There you go. I already ranted and rambled about that last week. I'm not going to rehash it.
I know. I'm just it just came across my desk. I figured I'd throw it out there.
That's fine.
And I think that's it. I think we covered all the news on the docket today.
Yeah, I think that's all the news.
The only thing that's left is Slice of Life, and I didn't find anything this week.
That's fair.
Sometimes I have trouble like filtering what goes into that category and what I want to talk about on the show proper, and I just didn't put anything in the channel.
Yeah. Well,
what about you?
All right. So the only thing that really falls in that category for me is I recently heard a little bit of Fortnite clamoring and all that kind of stuff going on, and you might be thinking, Anthony, why the fuck do you want to talk about Fortnite? And it's just one thing, and it goes across one of the many topics that I care about. Apparently, this season for the summer, they added characters that are actually in swimsuits. And not like, ugly full covering swimsuits, just like conventionally attractive swimsuits. And everybody is going feral over this, like in ways that are disproportionate. And it really just goes to show how much there has been a hampering on the sexual nature of designs in the last 13 years, that like just a basic swimsuit in Fortnite of all things is sending people is making people lose their minds. And people are joking, it's like all it took was Marvel Rivals making money hand over fist for people to kind of to get the idea. And you have like whatever whipped people are still playing Overwatch going, well, we have swimsuits too, and it's like people are wearing like 3 layers and shorts. I'm like, why? What are you showing me here? What the fuck are you showing me? So I find it very funny that something that was just, I don't know, like it was a standard for when we were coming up, when we were, in our 20s and whatnot, and it's just been hampered so much that there's a group of feral adults and younger adults coming up into this going, oh my god, they're crazy for doing such a thing. Oh my god, what's going on with this? Yeah, so yeah, that's the only small story that isn't really news out there. It's just like people turns out people like attractive designs.
Yeah,
if you
weird.
Can imagine
so
that.
Strange.
Yeah.
So strange.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm sorry I was ill prepared for this week's Slice of Life. I promise I'll have something next week.
There you go.
But that's pretty much about it. If you are still listening, thank you very much for listening. This was episode 115 of the Pregame Network Podcast. Anthony and I will be back next week to talk about whatever bullshit shakes out this coming week.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure there will be more than a few things.
Always is.
Just gotta wait and see. So on that note, thank you for listening, and we will see everyone next time.
Right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.